Hey, what's up? This is Sam from Bet. In this video, I'll be doing my full card predictions, analysis, and betting strategy for PFL 4, Pettis versus Martinez. If you're new around here, I'm a handicapper. I have experience of betting MMA and UFC for over 10 years. I'll divide these videos as follows. I'll be first talking about all the picks and the bets, and then on to the breakdowns. And if you wish to follow and to support me on Patreon, stick until the end, I can show you how. Alright? Awesome, guys. So before starting, if you'd like to start following me on Instagram, at first I put up some bets there. So if you're following me, you can see that which bets I'm taking in early markets. This may be interesting for you. All right. Obviously, it's not everything, but then I come with the videos later on to complement everything. All right. So let me go through all the picks and the bets that I have. If you don't understand much of this spreadsheet, I have a link in the description where I explain in details. Alright, so between Clarissa, Schulte and Brittney, Elkin, right off the bat, and it was the last fight that I watched, last tape that I watched. It's the most difficult fight to call by far. I think that Schulte is yeah, let me just go through everything, then I'll just go through the breakdown. So yeah, this is the most difficult fight to call and to bet. I'm picking Schulte, but not betting the fight. Chris Wade versus Arman Ospanov. I'm picking Wade, but betting Ospanov, small bet. Between Marcin versus Olivier Aubin-Mercier, I'm picking Aubin-Mercier, but not betting the fight. Bubba Jenkins versus Bobby MOffett. My biggest bet of the card on MOffett, 1.75% of my money. To me, this is a medium quality bet. Lance Palmer versus Stirn. I'm picking Palmer, but not betting the fight. Brandon Loughnane versus Tyler Diamond. I'm picking betting Diamond. Second biggest bet of the card, yes, alongside Martinez. Movlid Khaybulaev versus Sheymon MOraes. Picking and betting Khaybulaev. Parlaying him. Natan Schulte versus Mikhail Odintsov. I'm picking Schulte but not betting the fight. Akhmed Aliev versus Loik Radzhabov. I wanted to get this fight on Radzhabov at plus 200. I was not able to, so let me update this because the odds have changed so much. I didn't catch him on an early market, so but my pick is Aliev, alright, but not betting the fight. Clay Collard versus Joilton Lutterbach. I'm picking Collard but not betting the fight. Pettis versus Martinez. I'm picking and betting Martinez. But okay, this is from the UFC, alright. So let me move on to the breakdowns. Alright, so between Lance Palmer and Stirn. It's a tricky fight for me, especially to call, because I haven't seen basically any footage on Stirn. The problem was that I found only from his amateur bouts. Obviously, he didn't look that good in those bouts, you know. And also, I couldn't see any striking, rather just some grappling. He's facing Lance Palmer, which is known for his power, athleticism, and wrestling. Probably it's a very difficult fight for Stirn, you know, unless he can pull up a sub on Palmer, or if he can stuff the takedowns, which is very difficult to believe. But again, I cannot tell much because I don't have enough footage on Stirn, right? But the odds show Lance Palmer as like a 9-1 favorite or something, so yeah, I don't see much value, you know, on this, unless you really have seen the footage on Stirn. You're really sure that he cannot win by any means. Then okay, I would say that maybe parlaying Palmer is worth it. But regardless, it adds up very little profit for you, right? So I'm passing on this one. These are my calculations for the fight. Don't take this too seriously because again, I don't have much footage on Stirn. But it's clear that Palmer should dominate this fight. Maybe Palmer by decision. I don't know if Stirn can survive the pressure, but maybe he can. He seems to be a tough guy. So I don't know. Consider Palmer by decision. Maybe there's some value there. Chris Wade versus Arman Ospanov. This is an interesting one. Ospanov is a very tall, not very tall, but tall, like 5'11", and long, lightweight. I know that his record says 5'9", but I've seen a picture where he stands close to Punahele Soriano. He looks taller than Soriano, so he's at least the same height as Soriano, which is 5'11". So I'm pretty sure that he's taller than 5'9", even though again the record shows 5'9", and he's a long guy, 75 inches. Very good grappling. He doesn't use that much, but he's very good. and seems to be really a tough guy. He push the pace, you know, lean, athletic. The problem that he has, maybe he can get tagged quite a bit because he overextends at times with the punches, but he's a nasty kicker. Chris Wade is a guy known by his pressure, his physical attributes. He likes to use double legs and control guys on the ground. That's his best. The best thing that he does. He's also not easy to hit. He has good side kicks from the outside. So it's a tricky fight to call and to bet, guys. I think Ospanov has a little bit more chances to win this one. But if you're asking me a pick, I would say Wade by decision is the safest pick, you know, because Ospanov could finish Wade. You know, I know that Wade has never been finished and has never been TKO'd, but I would say that Ospanov has more chances for a finish, whereas Wade has more chance for a decision. That's why I'm picking Wade by decision, but I'm putting some money, very little money on Ospanov, because I think he can surprise. He has the factors that can be a surprise in this fight. So I think you know, there is some value on Ospanov. I have this as a pick 'em, as you guys see. So to me, there's the fact that Ospanov is a plus 120 dog. By the time I'm recording this video, it makes sense to bet on him. All right. So I was just updating it here while talking. All right. So these are my calculations for this fight. Feel free to pause here, take a look at those numbers. I think they're worth your time, and on these comments as well. On to the next fight, Brandon Loughnane versus Tyler Diamond. It's also another interesting fight, guys. Loughnane is a guy that's known by his well-rounded skills, good strikings on the outside, you know, not bad straight punches. You know, he was quite a volume guy, even though he could be, you know, he could use more volume, but he's overall pretty well-rounded. You know, he's good basically everywhere. I like his clinch game a little bit. You know, he doesn't grapple much. I mean, he doesn't shoot much for takedowns, even though he can grapple, but he does a good job on the clinch. He's a very experienced guy, very impressive record. Diamond is a guy that came out from one of the tough seasons. This guy is a great wrestler, you know. He can chain wrestle. He uses his strengths also. He's a compact guy for the division. He's strong. His striking is not bad either. Good 1-2s, not that easy to hit. Quite fast, athletic guy. So to me, it's again another pick 'em fight, you know. It's actually I'm favoring Diamond a little bit because I think he can impose his ground game. We saw Diamond against the Korean Falcon. He proved his toughness there. He got hit quite a bit, but he kept pushing. So he has this grinding mentality, this blue chip wrestling style. So to me, the bet is definitely on Diamond because he's a plus 200 dog. To me, this is totally off, so I'm betting Diamond there. And I also would like to bet Diamond by decision when the prop bets come, because I think there's a lot of value there. If you like Loughnane, I would say Loughnane by decision because I don't think he finishes Diamond. You know, by submission is really less likely. By TKO, I also don't think he can TKO Diamond. So these are my calculations for the fight. Like I said, I have Diamond as a favorite. He's a dog. It makes lots of sense to bet him. Plus, I would be interested in betting Diamond by decision. Marcin Held versus Olivier Aubin-Mercier. Held showed quite good striking against Natan Schulte. I was quite impressive actually, not only about the offensive, he put up some volume there, quite sharp hands, but also defensively he looked pretty decent. Actually, he's not 4-star, but he looked pretty decent defensively, you know. But Held is known by his BJJ. This guy is an elite grappler, you know. If he takes to the ground, he can submit guys and control them. Olivier Aubin-Mercier has a good takedown defense. He's a good grappler himself. You know, I'm actually favoring him more on the offensive grappling because he has a better job of imposing his wrestling. But he's definitely not gonna try to impose on Held. He may take Held down in the end of the rounds to secure, you know, by points. But he's not gonna want to grapple for too long with Held, you know. But Aubin-Mercier, even though I'm rating them quite similar, I think he has a small advantage on the striking. Because he's a little bit longer, he's more experienced with the hands, and especially has kicks. So you could argue that OAM has 3.5 to 4 stars in the striking, whereas Held, he's improving. He has proved himself with great improvements, but still, it's not yet proven, at least in my opinion. I'm picking Aubin-Mercier by decision. Maybe interesting bet on Aubin-Mercier by decision. He's a plus 120 dog, so if you're gonna force me to bet, I would bet on Mercier, but I'm quite curious to see Held which version of him comes. I think he can improve a little bit more and impose his game more. So I don't know. My head says that my logic part says Aubin-Mercier has more chances, but I don't know. Maybe Held gonna bring improvements and dominate this fight, right? So that's why I'm picking Aubin-Mercier, but not betting the fight. But in terms of decision, prop bets, I'm interested in both of these guys. I think OAM has more chances for the decision. So I'd like to bet him by decision, but also Held by decision make lots of sense. Natan Schulte versus Mikhail Odintsov. This is also another interesting one. Schulte is a very well-rounded guy. He's very good on the defense part. On the offense, he's also not bad. He tries to push the pace. He has some power, but the problem is he's more like a standard, MMA striker. And the problem with that is that he's not that tall and long, so he has to get inside and start trading punches with guys. He can get hit, So, but on the offensive part, he does a good job because he waits for guys to throw his lips, then he comes back. It's tough to deal with him. Also on the defensive grappling, he's very good. He's a strong judo base, has good counter wrestling, has a great top game himself. He's a black belt, So this guy is very complete. He's a former champion in the PFL. The last season. Mikhail Odintsov, it's more like a sambo wrestling. I can classify him. The problem with this guy is that he tries to shuns when he cannot impose his wrestling game, which could be very much what's gonna happen here because Schulte has such a good takedown defense. He's also aggressive, so it's not easy to shoot it on him. Odintsov, I've seen him panic wrestling before. Maybe not panic wrestling, but at least he shoots from way too far. So it's tough for him to bring the fights to the ground. I have Schulte quite a strong favorite here, but I'm not betting him because, he's like minus 300, minus 330. So to me, there's a small chance that Mikhail Odintsov can win this if we can take Schulte down, control him. From top, Odintsov has advantage as good as Schulte is from his back. But I don't think Odintsov takes this to the ground. And on the feet, I think Odintsov gonna start getting tagged and he's not gonna like it and he's gonna probably, lose a decision. So Schulte by decision, a prop bet should be interesting. Odintsov is also not a good grappler. He's not a bad grappler, but he's not like a BJJ guy. So I would give more chances for submission for Schulte if he can take top position, especially. Schulte by decision, plus 200, Odintsov is a cover bet, also plus 3, plus 400 would be very interesting in my opinion. Joilton Lutterbach versus Clay Collard. Another interesting one, Collard was very impressive against Pettis, pushed the pace, proved his boxing experience, hands off to him, brought the pace, took shots, kept pushing. This guy proved his toughness, his will, his determination. Lutterbach, on the other hand, against Roche Manfio, started getting tagged, sorry. And basically he didn't shut down, but he struggled to land on Manfio. Manfio is a good counter puncher. But still, Lutterbach is so tall and so he has such big range, so he should be able to deal with that, but he was not. So he's getting, three stars everywhere because he's good everywhere, but not excellent. So Collard has the advantage in this matchup also, in my opinion, because I think he pushes the pace, he lands more volume, he throws harder, even though he doesn't have much power. He throws harder than Lutterbach. But Lutterbach is a big guy, he can definitely be patient from the outside and wait for Collard to overextend to shoot, which will make things interesting because he's a very good grappler, black belt, a good one. And Collard, even though he's not easy to control and he's not a bad grappler, he wouldn't want to grapple with Lutterbach here, So to me, Collard is the pick, but it's quite tricky to bet because he's a favorite on the lines, I have him as like minus 150. It's quite close to what the bookies have. But I also think Lutterbach can win this. So if you're gonna force me to bet, I would bet Lutterbach at plus 180. But the best bet here will be probably Collard by decision and then Lutterbach by decision. Alright? So feel free to pause here, guys. Some comments. I think it's worth your time and my calculations. Akhmed Aliev versus Loik Radzhabov, another very good one. This is gonna be a fun one. I think Radzhabov gonna come as always, pushing the pace, trying to be the bully, use his physical strengths. But he's matching Aliev, which is a great counter puncher. This guy has legit power, legit accuracy. He's very good on the counter striking. On the offensive, not so much, but on the striking, on the counter striking, he's really excellent. He lands with power and with consistency. And Radzhabov gonna play right into this style. I could argue that both have the style to beat each other, but I think Aliev has the edge here. And I would bet Radzhabov, like I told you guys in the beginning, if the lines were a little bit better, in a sense that Radzhabov would be plus 200, plus 230 dog, because again, he can push the pace if he doesn't get knocked out, which probably he's not gonna get knocked out because he's so tough. He could make it a close decision, but I think Aliev, regardless, has the edge here. Okay, these are some comments for you guys, and this is my calculations. So again, Aliev 33% by decision. I also like Radzhabov a lot by decision, especially as the dog. He's probably gonna have a plus 300 by decision or something. I'll take this bet if it presents. All right. On to the next fight. Movlid Khaybulaev versus Sheymon MOraes. This should be an easy one for Khaybulaev, to be honest, because this guy is such a massive grappler, like Khabib level of tenacity and technique in the sambo wrestling. And Sheymon MOraes is like a powerful, athletic guy patient, that waits for his time to crack. This is interesting because the lines show the real value on Movlid, in my opinion. I would bet Movlid at minus 300. Yeah, I'm betting him, like I'm parlaying him at minus 300. But I'm not throwing too much money on him because MOraes he doesn't have the biggest power ever, but he has some power. And we have seen Khaybulaev in the... I think this is wrong, guys. I apologize here. Yeah, this is not the comments for Khaybulaev. I think I didn't paste. So disregard this part here. But Khaybulaev, his style is based on sambo wrestling. And the problem that I have with Khaybulaev is one of those bouts he got KO'd with basically one shot. It was not much. And MOraes could crack him with one shot, so he has a puncher chances here, but I think Khaybulaev gonna be smart. He's gonna take MOraes down and just own him there from the top. So that's why I'm betting Khaybulaev, but not that much money, right? So these are my calculations. I'm picking Khaybulaev by decision because MOraes is a tough guy, and Khaybulaev, he's good with the submissions, but he's more like a sambo guy, so he could go like for arm triangles, he can take the back and etc. His ground and pound is good, but it's not like that he's gonna... If he gets into a dominant position, he can finish MOraes by ground and pound, but I don't know, man. I think MOraes is quite composed in this regard. I think he's gonna survive, and we're gonna see Khaybulaev by decision, so this will probably be an interesting bet. Brandon Loughnane versus Tyler Diamond. I talked about this fight already, right? I did. Sorry, guys. So Clarissa Shields versus Brittney Elkin. This is the toughest one, right? Because Shields she's a boxing champion, outstanding, great technique, great power, especially, athletic, big girl. But like what you're gonna tell, she never fought in MMA, at least so far as I know, but so how she's gonna face the grappling? This is the question here. But Elkin, on the other hand, I didn't see much footage on her. It was not available to me. But I didn't like what I've seen, to be honest, She's not good anywhere. The striking is pretty sloppy, the chin is up really high. She tries to swing, to fire back, but it's not nearly as good. She's a tall girl, she's long, but I don't know. And on the defensive grappling, I saw an underhook, but it was pretty much it. She doesn't have much technique, so I'm not even sure if she can take Shields down or hold her down or submit her, which make things pretty weird. But I would say Shields by TKO is the biggest bet, the biggest chances. I would say that Shields is really an 80% favorite here. This would be 20, so I think Shields is a favorite. Actually, if you would force me to bet, I don't know, man. Probably I would bet Shields, even these crazy lines, because just just because I didn't see anything on Elkin, but this is totally super difficult to call. I'm giving like nearly 50% chance that Shields finish her, you know, so that's a big spread here, guys. It's really difficult to tell what's gonna happen here. Actually, it's easy to tell. If Elkin cannot take it to the ground, she's probably gonna get TKO'd, but it's difficult to tell whether Shield's gonna be able to keep this standing. I would say yes, because she's powerful and athletic, basically, you know. Bubba Jenkins versus Bobby MOffett. Like I told you guys, my biggest bet of the card on MOffett. Jenkins is a very good wrestler, you know. He's an elite wrestler, actually. Good double legs control. He's a fast guy, athletic, you know. But his striking is not bad. He improved through the years. Has good kicks from the outside and good 1-2s. But he doesn't like to be much challenged. He doesn't like to trade technique for technique. He likes more like when he controls the range and then he makes a slow paced fight on the feet and he shoots and controls the guy. I don't think he's gonna have too much of this against MOffett, because MOffett is a guy that pushes the pace. He doesn't mind getting hit, even though he does a pretty good job of moving his head with his defense. So it's not easy to deal with MOffett. He keeps pushing. We saw that in the UFC. Also, he has very good wrestling, and he's the better grappler in this matchup. Obviously, Jenkins is the better wrestler, so he can take MOffett way easier down, but I think it's difficult to hold MOffett down. He knows how to scramble. He creates... he's a better grappler here in jiu-jitsu wise, you know, so I think MOffett could also shoot on Jenkins. And this is not the only wrestling guy. This punches behind and MOffett can lock his hands. So MOffett can take Jenkins down. And I would say that if the one controlling, if they take each other down, I think it's more difficult that Jenkins controls MOffett than MOffett controls Jenkins. So to me, MOffett has the edge also on the grappling, as surprising as this may sound to some of you. And both of these guys are tough, they are experienced, you know. So to me, it's nearly a pick 'em, but I like MOffett here, like I said. I think he's going to be able to do better on the feet, push more the pace, throw with more volume. He's going to get taken down at some point, but I think he gets back up and he keeps pushing. At some point, he can take Jenkins down. So I think MOffett is a small favorite. The line shows MOffett with plus 260, so that's why to me this is the biggest bet of the card. Alright, these are some comments, feel free to pause here. This is my calculation. So basically by decision could go either way. You know, I have a little bit more chances on MOffett by submission. Jenkins actually, he makes lots of mistakes, not lots, some mistakes from the top. He can get caught in arm bars, you know, in some leg locks type of things, you know. So he's improving his BJJ, but it's not his thing. So I think that MOffett also has more chances to finish Jenkins, okay? So that's why MOffett to me makes lots of sense. Anthony Pettis versus Alex Martinez in the main event. Great fight. Pettis is known by his counter-striking. I don't know if he's known by that, but I consider him as a counter-striker. You know, he's great into that. Lots of angles, you know, sharp strikes. He's patient, you know. On the defensive grappling, even though he's not difficult to take down, has a good guard. He's quite dangerous from his back, you know. Super experienced guy, tough. I can say the same about Martinez, despite the inexperience. Martinez is a good striker, you know. I like his straight shots. I like he's a tall guy. He's 6 feet tall or 5'11", but very long guy. You know, he uses lots of kicks on the outside, good straight punches. Not easy to hit this guy. He showed in the Radzhabov fight how tough he is. You know, he keeps fighting. He doesn't mind a dog fight, but he's also very good on the technique. I like his grappling. You know, he creates scrambles. He can shoot inside. You know, so you're having a young versus an old lion here. Not that Pettis is old, but just for the sake of the argument, it's an old versus a young lion. I think the young lion here is hungrier. I think he has more chances in this fight because he can take it to the ground. You know, he's taller, he's longer, which makes things a little bit trickier for Pettis. You know, to me, Pettis should bring the same game plan as he did against Stephen Thompson if he wants to win this. But the problem is that Martinez is a good grappler and not a bad wrestler, you know, and a big guy again. So it's tricky for Pettis to me in this matchup, but again, Pettis to me he should push the pace, he wants to win, but it's not much his style, even though he can do it. I think we're gonna see the old school Pettis trying to counter and be flashy from the outside, but I think Martinez is the more consistent guy, has more chances to use more volume and take him down. Alright, so these are my calculations here. So like I said, Martinez by decision to me makes lots of sense, plus he's an underdog, I'm betting him straight, parlaying, and by decision, okay? So guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Let me show you my Patreon, the 3 tiers that I have. So basically it's with the $10 tiers, you guys get access to the early releases. I'm also gonna be changing a little bit these things up. I'm gonna be putting my top 3 bets from the $10 tier, you know, and we'll be probably moving the early releases to a lower tier, so probably we're gonna be adding a new tier here for like $2 or something. But at the $10 tier, so gonna be my top 3 bets of each card. Then I have everything plus all prop bets in line by line, like I'll show you guys soon, for 15, and everything in line by line, all the bets that I'm taking, so you can just copy if you trust me from $50 tier. All right. So these are some of this line by line. What I mean, this is I'm filtering here all the bets that I took for the last event plus the combinations from previous event. So I separate these things into single and parlay, so everything that I'm doing, right? So this is line by line, how many units I'm putting, comparing. So you can basically just it's basically the same as I show here in the spreadsheet, but the interesting part that I show you guys what you have to do, plus I don't show the props here, but I do have the props in this $50 tiers, you know. And for the 15, it's basically as the same as the 50, but I show only the props, you know. So if you have my $15 tiers, this would be how it looks like for you in the last event, you know, which was an outlier. It was really great, this event, you know. It was nearly 6 units profit only from prop bets, which is massive, you know. It's not that common. The common profit is like 2 units per unit profit per event, you know. Some events I lose, but then I win 4, then I lose, then I win 6, etc., you know. So as an average, I would say 2 units, but rather than that, if you want the $50 tiers, you have access to everything, you know, and then the profits, they come more consistently. In the last event combined was literally 13 units profit, you know. It's also an outlier, but either way, 12.6 there. So it comes as more consistent, all right? So guys, again, if you like this, thank you for watching. If you like, please like, subscribe. If you're interested actually in any of these Patreons, I'm also offering a free trial, so you can see if things make sense to you, if the profits really come. So feel free to reach out to me by email or PM me on Instagram. We can chat, all right? Take care, guys. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. This is Santos, rather by my best, bring the best, most consistent and transparent betting strategy for you.